pots were all hung by the chimney just so, with the hopes they get filled up to from ankle to toe. The Knicks schnoozing without any sound. What the heck is that? In their hats, clear toy candies been dancing around. When Mama and me, will be out in the light, crawled under the covers and snuggled up tight. Then from the outside we heard something fierce that made our eyeballs rattle our ears. There was crashing and banging. Could it be true? Did our ears disserve us? Or was it a moo? Then off to the window we ran in the dark. Kicked the dog accidental, he startled the bark. When we looked through the window, coming through the gate, it wasn't un-move we saw, it was a. It wasn't un-mover we saw, it was a. 4 cows, 4 steers, they were harnessed somehow, and were dragging behind them an old-fashioned plow. And third just behind, our sorrows a pickle, was this fella we had known to be called Perschnickel. He wiggled that plow to keep going on course. I think he'd done it before, if he'd had a horse. So doppish and slow, those 8 dummers run, and he growled and he grumbled and he yelled, ach, you won. Now Jackie, now Becky, now Rachel, now Josie, now Nemo, now Sarah, now Esther, now Opata. And watch where you're going. There's nothing unwiser than stumping your hoofs into the stray fertilizer. They got through the barnyard without any hitch, and the Perschnickel grumbled and raided a big switch. Climb up on that roof now, and make it snappy. You don't want me to make me no unhappy. Mocked off on the trellis, then on the porch roof, and don't get no ivy vines caught in your hoof. I'll get awful Gritchly. If you, I think I have trouble with that every year. Yeah, that's what I was like. Grease lick, if you make me fall. So clamber up all. Like the chickens all look when they fly, when to fly they are trying, or mess kits are making when shoes they are tying. So clumsy they climbed up an inch with each moo, but somehow they made it. It wonders me too. And then in a twinkle, we heard on the roof, each cow was rustling around, stomping its hoof. The cracks on the roof timbered filled our ears, 'cause it just wasn't built for 4 cows and 4 steers. By now the kiddies had run in our room, frightened by all those cracks and those bums. To tell them what happened, I was going to begin, then chomp at you hoozy, the ceiling fill in. The ceiling fill in. Down came the Perschnickel, plop in her bed. A few shingles make it down right on his head. And then he looked up through the hole in the ceiling. It was just a little bit worried that we were feeling. For there overhead was that 8 head of cattle, still stomping so hard that it made the walls rattle. We fell if we had been crushed by their hooks, and the cows would fall down our bedroom next. But they, on the roof, they stayed, and I wiped away sweat, then looked up at the scary Perschnickel yet. He had got to his feet and was brushing his breeches. Brushing his breeches. Holding his sack and using his switches. He was dressed in black from his head to his hat, and he frowned and he said, "Hey, what are you looking at? Ain't you ever seen no Perschnickel before?" Well, I had, but the others had come through the door. His beard was struppling, as white as snowfall, and his belly so skinny, it nearly was all. Nearly was all. I couldn't help thinking that this crappy guy could use the food dumplings and shoe fly pie.
This crappy guy or scrappy guy? Oh.
His eyes, he looked angry, but through they seemed vile. When he looked at the kitties, he just sort of smiled. Then he wiped it away and he made a mistake. Or for some Schnitz Kopf Mama should make. Dried apples and fluffy dough balls. That was apple crisp. Then he asked all the kitties, have you been bad or sweet? It's been good that you've been, then I'll give you a treat. But if it's been bad, then I'll warm your britches with one of my special bad kitty schritzes. They said they'd been good, and for telling the truth, still he growled at Amos and grimaced at Ruth. He frowned down at Amber, who just kind of grinned, and the Pishnickel leaned down and tickled his chin. Ah, crappy I might seem, but don't you forget, I ain't never had to spank one kitty yet. I just must be something about in the air, makes the kitties act better this time of year. So his switches he dropped, and he opened his sack, and he handed out orange, yo-yos, and jacks. Chacks, it should be chacks, not jacks. Chacks. $1 for Ruth, a voot horse for Amos. We laughed as we watched, and who could blame us? And finally he gave Amber a teddy with that final gift to leave us. He was ready. But he said as he crawled over the shingles and the sticks, I'll send over Schlafsticks to broke your roof to fix. Then he chumped the hole through, got up his fading plow, and yelled to his livestock, get going and nah. Down to the ground and without no complaint, until we get home and the house is all ain't. They sprung off the roof to the yard way below, where they got stuck in near 40 inches of snow. And that Pishnickel yelled, brushing snow off his head, Merry Christmas to 'em all. Now just go back to bed.
Can you hold it up? Can you hold up the book?
I think that needs to go on YouTube, honey.
Thank you, Rodney.
Very good.